Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, well, today I'm just doing this brief live stream, and today they had the press conference. Let me start off. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Donna Just Being Real, the only way to be. And today we're going to get into this topic. Lawyers for Trezell and Jacqueline West held a press conference. So I'm going to basically show the press conference. It's like about 30 minutes of the press conference they had today. It was very interesting, which I didn't get to see the whole thing, so I'm basically going to be watching with y'all. So whoever is, watching the replay, feel free to share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. So let me share the screen, and we're going to get into this press conference that they had today. Okay, give me a second to share. Okay, let me pause this, and we should be playing now. Okay, this is the press conference. We turn it up. Here we go. Yeah, today this is the press conference with the lawyers. So I didn't get to see the whole thing, so I said, let me just put up here and we're watching now, and I'm just getting home from work too. Can you hear everything, BC? Let me know if the volume is good.
All right, we'll get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. My name is Tim Hennessy. I'm lead counsel for Mr. Trezell West. Associated counsel with me will be Joshua Fleshman. He's not present at this moment. Here with me also is Alexia Torres-Stallings. She represents Ms. Jacqueline West, and associated counsel for Ms. Jacqueline West will be Ms. Fatima Rodriguez, here present to my left. This will be the only time defense counsel will be addressing the media and making statements about the case until after the trial. We won't be answering any questions here today. We won't be discussing any facts of the case. Our clients, we've spoken to them about this. They're behind this. They understand our need to getting our side out. Last week, our clients, Mr. and Mrs. West, were arraigned on an indictment of 5 counts, including second-degree murder, and that came as a result of a grand jury convene. There's been great confusion we've seen about the difference here between a grand jury and a trial jury, and the two of those things could not be more different. First, the standard of proof is lower for a grand jury. They need to only determine probable cause, which is one of the lowest legal standards our system holds. They also do not require a unanimous vote by the jurors. The prosecution also has broad discretion in determining how to proceed and doing so by way of indictment. The grand jury process lacks a crucial and important role of our criminal justice system, and that is the accused and their counsel being present during. There's no opportunity to cross-examine any witnesses, and it is basically ran by the district attorney. This is to the detriment of the accused, as evidence of a speculative nature has a way of integrating itself into this most secretive of all legal proceedings. On the other hand, a trial by jury, they must unanimously agree on the issue of guilt or not guilty. And there you have the highest standard of proof, which is beyond a reasonable doubt, and it is a proceeding done in open court. The state's comment and reliance on this "we have proved to a grand jury" is mere rhetoric. It's used as an insurance to bolster a lopsided indictment. Comments such as this have no place in an actual court of law, where it is 12 individuals who unanimously decide the outcome of this case based on this highest level of burden of proof, which is beyond a reasonable doubt. Statements that have been used by the Kern County District Attorney in her press conference tend to invoke a tidal wave of emotion towards finding guilt, whether substantiated or not, and this will taint a local jury pool and could deny our clients a chance at a fair trial. It's odd that the office held their press conference, made a series of comments which both mis- and disinformed the public, then the following day came and requested a gag order to stop the defense from having an ability to make similar comments. This action is disingenuous, but may also cause change for a change of venue in the future. This is an election year, and this case is serving as a compass to guide the DA to her path of re-election. However, it is now when the misleads in theater end and the constitutional protections begin. The safeguards of the accused and the fight to preserve those for Trezell and Jacqueline West begin now. And I thank you.
Buenas tardes a todos. Gracias por acompañarnos a nuestra conferencia de prensa conjunta. Primeramente, me gustaría comenzar presentando a los abogados. Timothy Hennessy, el abogado principal para Sr. West. Joshua Fleshman, abogado asociado con Sr. West. Y yo, Alexia Torres Stallings, abogada principal de la señora Jacqueline Martínez West. Fátima Rodríguez, abogada asociado de la señora West. Esta será la única vez que los abogados defensores se dirigirán a los medios de comunicación hasta después del final del juicio. No responderemos a ninguna pregunta hoy después de la conferencia. Tenga en cuenta que hemos hablado con nuestros clientes que están al tanto de la conferencia de hoy y tampoco discutiremos ninguno de los hechos relacionados con el caso. Comentarios como estos no tienen. Perdóname. La semana pasada, el señor y señora West fueron procesados por una acusación de 5 cargos, incluyendo asesinato en segundo grado como resultado de una reunión del gran jurado. Existe una gran confusión entre los dos jurados de juicio y los gran jurados, y los dos no podrían ser más diferentes. Primero, el estándar de prueba es más bajo para un gran jurado, necesitando solo determinar la causa probable. Uno de los estándares más bajos de prueba. Tampoco requieren unanimidad. La Fiscalía tiene amplia discrecionalidad para determinar proceder a través de la acusación. Este proceso carece de un papel crucial y importante del sistema de justicia. El acusado y sus abogados no están presentados durante el procedimiento y los abogados defensores no tuvieran la oportunidad de entregar a los testigos de la Fiscalía. En detrimento de los acusados, la prueba de naturaleza especulativa tiene una forma de congregarse con el más secreto de todos los procedimientos legales. Por otro lado, un juicio por jurado debe acordar unánimemente la cuestión de culpable o no culpable por el más alto nivel de prueba más allá de una duda razonable y hacerlo en juicio abierto el público. El comentario del Estado demostraremos al gran jurado es pura retórica, utilizado como garantía por reforzar su acusación desigual. Comentarios como estos no tienen cabida en el verdadero tribunal y justicia, donde 12 personas que le deben decir por unanimidad el resultado de este caso sobre la base del cargo mayor de la prueba más allá de una duda razonable. Declaraciones como la utilizada por la fiscal de distrito el condado de Kern en su conferencia de prensa tienden a evocar un halo de emoción hacia la culpable, y sea fundamentado o no, que marcha el grupo de jurados locales y niega a nuestros clientes un juicio justo. Eso extraño que la oficina celebrar una conferencia de prensa hiciera una serie de comentarios que desinformen y desinformen al público, y luego el día siguiente envía a su abogado a la corte en busca de un orden de mordaza. Esta acción no solo es insincero, sino que también puede crear una causa para un cambio de sitio en el futuro. Este es un año electoral y este caso sirve como la estrella norte que guía la fiscal hacia su camino de reelección. Sin embargo, aquí es donde terminan las trampas y el teatro y comienzan las protecciones y las salvaguardas constitucionales de señor West y señora West, los acusados. Muchas gracias. Thank you, everyone, for being here today.
I know you guys can't talk about facts of the case, but can we ask you questions just about what it is that you said, just for further clarification?
About grand juries in
Yeah,
particular?
exactly. So, just for like a
I agree.
common layperson, can you explain the difference between finding having probable cause in order to pass an indictment and the beyond a reasonable doubt? Could you explain that a little bit further?
I mean, generally speaking, yeah, sorry. All right, so generally speaking, probable cause is the standard kind of being used day to day by law enforcement on whether or not to make an arrest, right? That is is there a probability something here happened? Okay. Beyond a reasonable doubt is that probably happened, right? I mean, that, and I don't have my calculator in front of me, but it's the idea that that it is more probable than not that the guilt of this offense has been proven, right? The question is not should or not this person be arrested, and that's where we're at now. It was there enough for these charges to be brought? But the highest standard beyond a reasonable doubt, that's far off. That's so far from where we're at now. But because we hear jury, we hear grand jury, trial jury, there's this general sense to think, well, they must have proven this. This must have been proven beyond reasonable doubt. And that is not what happened. That is not what a grand jury is. A grand jury is a way to bring charges, much like how we have preliminary hearings all day, every day in the downtown courthouse. That's the same thing to get you in the same place. They're two wildly different things, a grand jury and a trial jury.
Will you have a prelim?
So, I didn't know if you wanted me to. Did you want me to answer that in Spanish as well? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So La causa probable es el más abajo forma de los estándares. So, por ejemplo, es cuando la policía hay un arrestado en una persona, es el más abajo, lo más abajo. Y para las estándar de duda de razonable es más alta. So, por ejemplo, no es probablemente, no es posiblemente, pero es más alta de esos, ¿ok? Más alta de probablemente, más alta de posiblemente.
In terms of the timeline, when you guys hope to move forward with the trial? Or is it still up in the air, depending on the information you guys are allotted?
That's difficult considering the stage we're at right now. As far as what we know and need to prepare for, I do know that our position as well as our clients is to be vindicated as soon as possible.
Where do you guys stand on the gag order tomorrow and why?
So I can answer that in English and then I'll go back. So we are going to be joining in the request for the gag order for a number of reasons. We do not want more misinformation to be spread before the jury trial. There has been very, very few number of cases that have had the opportunity to have a change of venue granted. I believe that there was one, not recently, but I believe that it came back on the Robert Mistriel trial, I believe was one of them. And so in order to ensure that our jury pool here isn't tainted, we are going to be joining on that gag order as well. ¿Quiere que yo decir eso en español también? Okay. So, nosotros queremos el orden también porque no hay muchos casos aquí en Kern County donde hay un papel de orden para cambiar el sitio. So, yo nomás piensa un jurado de Robert Mistriel, excuse me. Entonces, nosotros queremos juntar en pide la corte porque no quiere que personas aquí no tomen mucha información que no es correcto antes del jurado.
And there will be no prelim?
No, there won't be a prelim because that is what the grand jury accomplished. So rather than proceed through prelim, it proceeded by way of grand jury, which is fine. It's an option, but it is to think that it is somehow superior or has proven more or means more, that's inaccurate.
When you guys say change of venue, could you just be a little bit more clear? What do you mean by that?
So if we go back to the trial that I cited earlier, that the incident took place here in Kern County, but the attorneys were able to prove in court that a significant portion of the people in Kern County were aware of the case and essentially argued that the jury pool would have already made up their mind had they decided to stay here. Again, these are not granted often, but it is something that we may be able to do considering the large amount of coverage that this case has garnered.
So basically, it would just be arguing it in a different district type of thing.
Right. Same trial, just in a different county.
Okay.
También para en español. So, en el orden para cambiar el sitio, no hay muchos casos aquí que eso es la realidad. Entonces, nosotros estamos diciendo que es posible para cambiar el jurado porque, por ejemplo, hay muchas personas aquí en Kern County que either sabíamos o tenemos una opinión de este caso. And so, por ejemplo, es más mejor para pedir a la corte para cambiar el county, pero es el mismo jurado.
And to clarify, are you guys saying the DA went the grand jury route for political reasons?
So in viewing the press conference, I believe that she had indicated that they went the press conference route for some reasons that may have dealt with scheduling purposes. Although that can happen, there is also something that council can agree to in order to allow the prelim to be continuous. She did state that there were a lot of high-profile cases in which they have chosen to go by way of indictment. Between Mr. Hennessy and our law firm, we were thinking of a couple of our high-profile cases, and those ones have not gone by way of indictment.
What challenges does this sort of present to you guys? You mentioned you guys have had these kinds of high-profile cases, but what sort of barriers are you guys now presented with? I mean, obviously there's the change in venue. Any other challenges that you guys are sort of facing and working through right now?
I would say in comparison to other cases, and I think one of the reasons why I wanted to speak today on behalf of Mr. West is the public's response to a lot of this has made it seem like it's a done deal. Like, why would you take this case? Why would you represent this person? He was found by this jury already. And to us, that's detrimental to a defense. That's like the fundamental purpose of this is innocent until proven guilty. And people are telling me, hey, it's a done deal. We saw it on the news. We heard it. A jury found him guilty. They proved it to a jury already. And to us, that's the most detrimental thing, because this has to be a jury of people ready to sit, listen, do their job, hear the evidence, make a decision. And if the whole community already thinks that's a done deal, no one's going to show up to take this seriously, then we've lost already. And that is the point today, is to make it clear what it is that was done and what still has to be done before you want to convict our clients.
Mm-hmm. Y también cuando leo los comentarios de, por ejemplo, YouTube o de la media, también hay muchos comentarios que personas están diciendo que ellos están culpables porque necesitan una jurado, porque un gran jurado ya dice que ellos son culpables. Entonces, esa es la razón que nosotros
You're right,
piensan
Nikki. They
que
can't get
esta
out of this one.
conferencia es más importante para correctar las palabras, los estatutos de la fiscal.
If you did the normal way, the normal trial, would you still take the case?
I'm so sorry, I didn't understand the
If they
question.
did it the normal way, like the regular trial, like the normal one, would you guys still defend these people?
Yeah.
Right.
There's still innocent until proven guilty.
No,
And it doesn't matter if that's a grand jury putting charges or a holding order at a prelim. I'd have still taken the case. I just want the ground we're working with now for everyone to understand that we're in the same place that they've been held to answer at a preliminary hearing.
Sí, porque es muy raro para hacer este tipo de audiencias. Es raro para hacer este tipo de audiencias, y también, like my counsel was saying, que ellos son inocentes ahora.
Can you guys confirm if this case is being worked by you guys pro bono?
It
Is
is-
that what's going on?
It is not. So we are appointed through the Indigent Defense Panel. That is a program that is run through the Kern County Bar Association. And so that is how we have been appointed to the case.
And you guys are requesting a change of venue.
I think that's something we have to discuss further and see where we're at. I think the concern is that is where we'd end up, and we'd like to avoid that if we could. This should stay in Kern County. It's Kern County's people. So, but that being said, I think it's something that we are aware of and paying attention to.
In establishing sort of like the timeline that you guys are going to be working with your, speaking to your clients as well, were you guys able to establish when exactly the West moved to California City?
I think that that's that's a little bit beyond the realm that we would like to discuss here today. We definitely do not mind talking procedure, but that's a little bit over what we wanted to discuss. Thank you.
You guys also said that there was some stuff that Ms. Zimmer said at a press conference that was like a little emotional, you know, tugging at those strings. Could you talk specifically what were the stuff that she said that really struck you as that?
It's not to say that this is not going to be an emotional case. However, we did believe that there was some phrasing that was used that to a lay person implicates one thing, but to an attorney or to many attorneys implicates another. When we hear stuff like we proved to the grand jury, they were convinced, they believed, that isn't the standard in which they make their finding. And so to us, it was to more clarify that that isn't the standard. That isn't to say that the grand jury aren't humans and that they obviously can't make up their own mind. It's just that that's not the same standard in which we know the standard to be.
And then one last question, just more of like if a person isn't a lawyer, a gag order, when is that implemented? What's sort of the standard that has to be met there for a judge to be like, yes, we're going to go forward with this?
I would say the request of a gag order is relatively routine in a high profile case. I don't think there's anything out of the ordinary in requesting it. I think the only thing that didn't sit necessarily right with us was a press conference comes out and then they want to place a gag order. And I think to us it was like, well, we should also have our opportunity to address exactly what we've done here, how we see it differently. But other than that, not talking about the case, because the reason why then I think Alexia talked about this is kind of the essence here is we want jurors who are going to sit and hear the evidence, how it's supposed to be presented. Let this play out. I mean, this is one of the fundamental things our society has is trial by jury, and it needs to stay pure and be what it should be. And that be 12 unbiased jurors listening to the evidence, making a decision. The minute that starts to seep into the jury pool and things change, that's what our concern. We just want to get it now. So that's why tomorrow we would agree with the gag order.
There is currently, you know, also a lawsuit that the county has placed on the West in regards for, are you guys sort of going to tackle that lawsuit as well? Are you guys going to represent them on that litigation as well? Or is that going to complicate this for you guys a little bit?
So the answer to that right now would be no. It was my understanding that the lawsuit, the civil lawsuit, is filed by the biological father.
There's another one. So the county, the West, are facing a child support lawsuit, I believe, for the other children.
Okay.
So there's the biological one, but then there's also the one by the county.
And you're not referring to a dependency issue?
It is the dependency one.
Okay, then in that case, we do not represent them in that particular matter. They actually have other attorneys who have also been court appointed through the indigent
Teresa
defense
Myers,
program,
blessings.
who represent them in that matter. That is not to say that we aren't working together. It's just that we aren't representing them on that matter.
All right, with that, we're good.
Okay, thank you so much.
One last question.
Should tomorrow's motion for the gag order, should it be denied? Would that change your guys' stance, or do you think it would change your client's stance on further commenting on the details of this case?
Like you mean,
Like
sorry,
public,
just
in the beginning, you said that this would be at this time the only time you plan on addressing media and questions regarding the case. Tomorrow, should the gag order be denied and details come out before the trial or throughout the trial, would you guys consider readdressing media at that point?
So I think that at this point, if the prosecution and the defense are going to be joining in that motion, I don't necessarily see it being denied. The reality is that whether or not it is or is not denied, it would still be in our best interest to at least just wait until the trial. We don't want to use the potential motion for change of venue as a sword and a shield. We want to be able to articulate that motion if necessary and have it granted again, if necessary, not by our own doing. So I think that regardless if it were or were not to be granted, we would still be abiding by the silence until the end of trial.
This agency you're talking about, did they come to you or did you go to them to pick on this case?
The agency.
The indigent defense panel, it assigned us. I mean, we were available for appointment.
It did, but I will note that we are asked if we would like to take on a case, specifically Mr. Hennessy and I, and we did choose to take this on.
Sorry, just to go back again to the change of venue question, you guys did say you guys have to discuss it a little bit further as well, but what would it depend on to motivate you guys to ask for a change of venue?
There are specific factors that we have to look into, that we actually have to do research on before we could bring that motion to court. As an officer of the court, we are bound from bringing frivolous motions, and so we want to ensure that there is at least some basis for that. I will point out that as you all have been covering this case, I too have been reading everything that you folks have been producing. But specifically, I would direct you to that Robert Mistrial case. I did read an article several years ago that indicated that I guess at the time of the hearing that the court was able to establish that 72 to 79% of the county either were aware of the case, had an opinion about that case, etc. Again, these are motions that are not granted often. And so a lot of times attorneys have to go back to the cases before us to determine how something can be brought about.
I would think the sentiment from both of us is, as pleasant as this has been, we'd rather not be doing this. We'd rather not be thinking about a change of venue. We'd rather just getting ready for a case, going before a jury and trying it. I think that would be our preference. I think in this one instance, because of the unique circumstances that got us here, we wanted to make this statement to point some things out before kind of shutting it down and doing it a trial like it should be done.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you so much,
you.
officers, before we start the wrap up.
Okay.
Then we're gonna start wrapping all this stuff up.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the press conference. It was like about, I guess, like 30 something minutes. Interesting. It was like kind of like my first time watching. I saw a little bit of the beginning, but I didn't see the whole thing. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. So they have to change locations, which, makes sense and everything, but they're not going to get off. And let me read the comments. I see everybody was greeting and stuff like that. Now, let me see if there's anything here to read. Or let me see what NIKKI Justice says. They don't have any family pictures of those children. Yeah, I mean, all these pictures that I have that I'm looking up, it's barely anything. I wish I would have had the link because I'm doing this last minute. I happened to be coming home work early today, so I was like able to do this one. And somebody did a video, and I don't know where did this person get these family videos and stuff, but I think these like pictures and videos of before they went to these monsters, but you're right. Because I was like, where's the pictures? There's no pictures. There's only like 4 or 5 pictures. Ridiculous. When kids at that age, we just, all we do is take pictures. When they eat, we take pictures. When they laugh, we take pictures. If they get pudding all over their face, we take pictures. It's just ridiculous. All right, let me see what I appreciate you keeping us posted. Oh, you're so welcome, BG. Thank you for being here. I know everybody here probably at work and sneaking in. So thank you for being here and taking your time out of your work day time to sneak in and listen. All right. And Nikki, don't even worry about it. Like I said, if you do the StreamYards, make sure you do the free, get the gist of it before you start putting in money in it. It's like $10. Then they have other ones, but the $10 is just fine. I was paying the one for $25. That was I went down to the 10. Much better. All right. Okay. What else Teresa says? Thank you for keeping us. Oh, you're so welcome, Teresa. Thank you for being here. And also, thank you, Teresa, for catching up on those videos too. My animation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Yeah, exactly. Right, right, Teresa. All right. What else? Nikki says. Right. That's what I mean. None with the West. Yeah. This is really strange. I'm telling you, Nikki, when it gets down to the courts, it's gonna be some stuff. It's gonna be like, what? They've been gone for how long? I think it's way longer than we thought. Because you have to remember, pandemic, everybody locked down. They 3 and 4 years old, so they're not entitled to go to schools, only preschool, but you don't have to go to preschool. You only have to go to kindergarten. So they had all the time to do what they had wanted to do. And I think when they moved the holiday time, these are all my thoughts and opinions, everybody, so, whoever's watching replay and stuff, don't start gunning for me and coming at me. This is all my thoughts and opinion, okay? But then with the holiday times, and I guess they figured they panicked. We moved over here. They was going to use the excuse, oh, the kids just walked away. I'm sorry. First of all, when you have little kids like that and you're in an area that you don't know, you're not going to be too comfortable about letting your kids. I don't have no music on. This is hard. Okay, I'm sorry. Y'all. I have to have some sort of sounds. Let me put some music on. I use this what do you call it? I'll use StreamYard's music. Okay, so yeah, so like they wasn't in school, so like when you're in school, you can tell when a kid is being abused. Teachers can tell they missing school, they haven't been there. There've been a lot of questions. So they was little angels, little 3 and 4 year olds, and if they would ask the neighbor, say, "Well, I haven't seen them," be like, "Well," neighbors would be like, "Well, I've been locked up in the house. Nobody's seen anybody." How many murder suicides, how much crime that was going on during this pandemic? Husbands killing their wives, wives killing their husbands, and using this excuse, say, "Oh, they just ran off." It's just crazy. Let me look at the comments. All right, all right. Wait a minute, Nikki said something else too. From what I heard, they were gone since they adopted them. Oh my gosh, Nikki. Probably. You never know, Nikki. All right, what does Teresa says? Huge. Yeah, thank you, Teresa. Never know. All right, Nikki says so. No one has seen those children. It's getting so creepy. Like I said, Nikki, when it comes out, yeah, beyond sad. When it all comes out in the courts, because they're gonna pull out. I know these lawyers, they know some stuff, but of course they can't say anything. They want to make sure everything is like the district attorney. They want to make sure it's solid, and they put these people under the jail. But I believe in that court, it's going to be a lot of people like, are you kidding me? What? But I want to find out more about what the other children that they have. Because they do have 2 biological children, and they also have 2 other, BG said, typo, fry them. Yeah, that's right, fry them. And, no, let me see here. Yep, fry them. Nikki said something. So no one in Bakerfield have seen them or in Cal. This is creepy, Nikki. Bakersfield and in Cal City. That's not good. That's not good at all. Oh boy, like I said, when the courts is gonna be, and I will follow through if they let cameras in there. Hopefully, they will let cameras in. We'll see what happens. Put the cameras in. Look at these Satan Jr. and Satan's daughter. Any privacy? No. Put them on blast. Put them on blast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions, anything before I start? Because I said I was going to do 40 minutes. I just wanted to show that one. And like I said, this was last minute. And thank you, everybody, for coming in here, sneaking in. And I know a lot of people's at work. Make 5 purple hearts. All right, Teresa says, nobody's seen those small boys. Someone must have seen them. Yeah. Teresa, this is This is creepy. What happened to those boys? And we're gonna find out, Teresa. So just get ready. It's not gonna be good. Both of them. And you know what, BG, you said something like the wife is gonna play that she was scared. Yeah, she is probably gonna go that angle. But she a monster too. She a monster. We saw when I showed that clip and with them doing when he was being interviewed and stuff, and then somebody was looking for their kids. You could look all in her face. Please get out of here. Women protect their children. And like I said, I don't have no sympathy, like y'all saw in that live stream. I'm sorry, I have no sympathy for the biological mother and the biological father. Sorry. Those kids wasn't wanted from the day they was born. And they did not ask to be born. They didn't ask to be born. Kids don't ask to be born. They can't choose their parents because a lot of parents walking around here. If their kids could choose, I'm sorry, you wouldn't have been on the list. You wouldn't even be in the top 10, the top hundreds. Look at these little angels. Look at those legs. Oh, God. Look at them greased down. All right. Any more questions? Like I said, I'm going to end now. Teresa said something. What did she say? She is pretending. Yep. She's going to go that angle. And then probably going to get off because she's going to talk. So she's going to walk around the streets. But if she does walk around, Teresa, oh my gosh, wherever she go, they're going to terrorize her. Just like the Brian Laundrie's parents. They might be free and got away with it because I think they need to be in jail. But believe me, they can't even order Uber. They can't. Because Uber people's going to be like, I'm not coming over there. If they do, they're going to probably spit in their food. They can't go nowhere. Nowhere. They stuck in the house. And they ever thought about breaking up? They ain't going to break up now. They stuck with each other for life. Monsters. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end this live stream. Thank you for everybody for being here. And to the replay watchers, share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Like I said, I will, time again, whatever, follow up on this. Anything comes up and share with y'all. And everybody just pray for these angels, that everything comes out and justice be served. Justice be served. And to whoever was the ones that helped them, because they did not do this alone. Jacqueline and Trezell's, whatever, well, Satan Jr. and Satan's daughter, they did not do this alone. All right, Teresa says something here. What do you say, my girl? I blame their biological parents too, because if they were good parents, those kids would not be in this mess. Exactly. I agree with you 100%. 100%. Some people might get mad, us we thinking like that. No, I go to the root of things. Why they not with you? Why they not even with the father? Nobody else? And if I'm correct, the biological mother has other kids. So they okay to stay with you. They Oren and Orson wasn't good enough to stay with you. Stuff might come out with them. We'll see. All right, everybody. Everyone have this as a blessed one. Stay tuned for some more commentary. Share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Also, you can email if you have any video requests or you need advice on dating, love, relationships. Feel free. And that's it. Bye, everyone. Have a blessed one.